Our guest on this portion of Perspectives is Dianna Muller.
Correct.
I didn't say Mueller, it's Muller.
Well, I said Muller when I first met him too, so I won't hold it against you.
How'd that go over?
He just corrected me, and I got on with it.
You know what? I've never met a true champion shooter. I've been around them, but I've never met one. You are considered a championship level professional shooter.
Correct.
Now let's qualify this, because I don't want somebody calling and say, well, she goes out and kills Bambi. No, although you may, but I doubt seriously if that's your claim to fame. Why do they call you Three Gun? We have some video we're going to show you in a minute, so stick around for that. Why do they call you Three Gun?
Well, that's just my sport. It would be like saying Michael Jordan is basketball, but that's the sport that I do. It's called Three Gun. It's rifle, pistol, shotgun. And of all the shooting sports, it's kind of considered the extreme shooting sports of our shooting industry. So basically what we do is it's a timed event, and sometimes I'll have my rifle on my back, and I'll have my shotgun, and I'll have my pistol on my hip, and the buzzer goes, and I go as fast and accurately as I can, and at the end there's a winner.
Is this competition we're seeing?
Yes, this is a competition in Las Vegas.
Why is the fellow in the orange hat bird dogging you so?
He is called the RO, the range officer, and he is responsible for me participating safely, and also he has the timer. So he starts, and then on the last shot, the timer will pick up my my time.
What kind of gun is that you're using?
That is a Benelli shotgun. It's an M2. It looks really long because it has a long tube on it. But it would be just like any other shotgun with a 4-round tube when I got it.
What sort of a score would one at your level turn in?
Well, that's why we love Three Gun, is because every course of fire is different. I'll never shoot that course of fire again. And there isn't a standardized course of fire that you can compare me to everybody else.
Okay, I'm confused. Why won't you shoot that again?
Because that was at one stage at one nationals this past year. And next year when we go back to nationals, it'll be a completely different course of fire. And of that you just saw, I shot 9 other courses of fire similar to that. Sometimes I would shoot, in our sport we have long and short games, kind of like golf. And so my long guns, my rifle and my shotgun, have up close stuff, and then they have far away stuff. So it's so diverse, and that's kind of why we like it. The people who do it, we love the diversity, and it's always a new challenge. You can never really get bored with it.
Highly competitive as well.
Yes.
I've got to ask this question. Have there been problems with men accepting women into this competition?
No, really. I moved to Oklahoma from Missouri 25 years ago because I was in the horse industry. I loved barrel racing, and that's what I did for the majority of my adult life. But the people in the shooting industry and the shooting sports are the most kind and receptive people that I have been around. So I kind of gravitated from horses all the way into leaving horses completely behind in 2011 and moving to town and basically striking up this professional career.
Well, I got to ask you, how did you go from horses to guns?
That's just how my family was raised. We were raised with horses and horse shows, and then my dad liked guns. We tried hunting. Neither one of us really cared to sit there and freeze and kill Bambi. So he turned our attention to the shooting sports and pistol games. So that's where I started, and then when I moved to Oklahoma, I stuck with the horses. And when they built the United States Shooting Academy in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right out by the police academy, I thought, you should at least go to a match to stay up for my job, which was being a police officer. So it just kind of transitioned all the way into leaving the police department after 22 years of service and starting a new career.
Well, certainly it was a wise choice. You are considered now a professional shooter.
Correct.
As opposed to doing anything else. This is what you do exclusively.
This is my full-time job.
So you have then, I would assume, some very strong sponsors.
I do. I have my primary sponsor is Benelli, the shotgun that you had asked about.
That's a beautiful piece.
They are. And it's not just about, it has to be, for me, it has to be the quality of the people and the products. It's not just who's going to shell out the most money.
Does your husband shoot as well?
My husband was a plastics engineer when he met me, and a hunter. He's an avid hunter, and he's who puts meat on the table, and that's what he's actually doing this weekend, or this week. And he and I together, once we focused on this, we focused our attention full time, and he is no longer an engineer, by trade anyway.
So he's also a professional.
Correct.
Were the weapons we were seeing you with automatic?
No. When you hear automatic, there's semi-automatic and there's full
I'm
automatic.
Sorry, you're right.
That's okay.
Are they
They're semi-automatic.
Yeah.
Yes.
So all three, even the shotgun.
Correct. Yeah, and that shotgun holds 12.
Well, I noticed, and somebody remarked as we looked at the video earlier, is that a bayonet on that? What is that?
No, it's just a really long magazine tube, and it holds 12 rounds. And my rifle is a 223 F1 Firearms. They're out of Houston, Texas. And it's an AR platform. And I really feel like, those guns have been bastardized, but they're really comfortable to shoot. Mm-hmm. And they may look scary and they may get a bad name, but they're really versatile guns. You can hunt with them, you can use them for home defense, you can obviously use them for sport. So there's a lot of different applications for the AR platform.
You are also busy away from the range.
Correct.
You talk to legislators.
Yes.
You talk to women's groups. How does that all come into play?
Well, it's just a passion on my heart to share the shooting sports and share the outdoor lifestyle. It's not as easy for people who live in the country or live in the city. We've all migrated towards the city, even me. And it's not as easy to understand firearms. It's not as easy to understand how to hunt or why to hunt. If you really want to know where your meat comes from and what is in it, then hunting is the ultimate green solution. And so I just want to share all of that. And the big picture is our country, and the Second Amendment is important to me. It was George Washington or Thomas Jefferson that said that they believed that every citizen's duty was to be armed and disciplined. So I think that's really high calling, and I would like to awaken everybody to that.
I believe that was Jefferson.
Was it Jefferson?
Goes back away and a sign of the times. It's interesting to me that so many young people, I mean really young folks, are involved in competitive shooting.
Well, it's a family. It's not like going to the soccer field. Everybody, we have families that have down to 10 years old. And our sport would be considered a very high, there's a lot going on in our sport. So these kids have been shooting for a while, but there's a 10-year-old that competes with his family. They have a family of 5. They're called the Yackley 5. They're good friends of ours, and there's a lot of families that participate. But everybody in the family can participate, and they don't have to sit on the sidelines and watch a soccer game and watch one kid play, as a lot of people do.
I know that the military, all branches, they all have a special interest in young shooters that are of military age, because if they find the right one, that kid's going to Olympic trials. And there have been a couple from here that were amazing, absolutely amazing what they could do at 1,000 yards.
Right, right. And there's all sorts of different shooting sports. There's just pistol, there's long range, there's the traditional shotgun games, the clays, and things like that. So if anybody's interested, just visit your local range and ask what kind of games that they have there.
I was going to say, if someone is interested,
mm-hmm.
What's next? What do they do?
Well, if somebody's interested locally, they can certainly reach out to me on Facebook. Dianna Muller 3-Gun is my Facebook, and I keep up with it quite regularly. And if you have any questions, just holler at me, and I'll be glad to point you in the right direction. We have some 3-gun matches here, but like I said, this isn't where I would start you. I would start you on something that's static, stationary, and make sure you understand, how safely handle firearms, but then B, how to get into the sport aspect of it, because there is some.
First one's important because
It's a
if you've got a
strategy.
range master like I had, he will crack the whip.
Yeah, everybody will. It's important.
We're out of time. Thank you so much for taking time to visit with us, and that's all the time we have for this edition. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.